Okay, so right now. I guess for you back in the States, you're holding by Erev Pesach Sheini. Here in Eretz Yisrael, we're holding by the night of Pesach Sheini. Ready? So we're gonna spend some time talking about an important lesson or two about the day of Pesach Sheini that I think is really worth our while to think about. Um, the So we know if you look in Parshas Baloscha, where the mitzvah Pesach Sheni appears, so the Torah has a whole discussion. In other words, Pesach Sheni wasn't something that, as opposed to, let's say, in this week's Parsha, in Parshas Emor, where there's what's called the Parshas HaMoadim, where the Torah lists off all the different Yom Tovim that we have in the calendar. Pesach Sheni most definitely does not appear. That it wasn't something that was initially given to us by the Ribbon Shalom. But if you look in the story that appears there in Parshas Baloscha, so you read as follows. The Chumash first describes that Moshe Rabbeinu in the second year in the Midbar reminded Klal Yisrael about the basic mitzvah of the Karban Pesach that they were meant to bring. The Gemara points out that was the only time that they brought the Karban Pesach while they were in the Midbar. Again, the different sugyas, but we're not going to talk through them right now. And then the pasuk describes the following event. But right now, in Shlishi Parshas Balos, so there were a group of people that they were timeim. The Gemara's and Pesachim discussed exactly who they were, why they were tamei, what the story was. Again, those details aren't so significant to us for the story now. But on that day that they were supposed to bring the Korban Pesach, they weren't able to do so. The Gemara makes a diak that it sounds like the next day they would have been able to. That's why the Gemara has some discussion as to exactly who this group of people were and the timing that was there. But they couldn't bring the Korban Pesach. And they went and approached Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen on the day of Erev Pesach, the day he's supposed to be bringing the Korban Pesach. And they said to Moshe, "Anachnu timeyim lenefesh adam." We're timei meis. We're timei meis. And we're not allowed to bring a Korban Pesach because of the Isur of Tumah. So, but lama nigara levilti akriv as Korban Hashem b'moado b'sog b'nei Yisrael. Why should we be any worse? Lama nigara. Why should we be any worse and not be able to be makar the Korban Pesach b'moado on the right time, just like everybody else? Moshe Rabbeinu says back, "Vayomer Aleichem Moshe." Moshe says, "Imdu be'eshma'a ma yitzav Hashem lachem." Stand still, and I want you to hear. I have to hear and learn from the Rebbeinu Shalom. What's HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to tell us to do? It's the end of a parsha, and then the next pasuk continues. Vaydaber Hashem Moshe. Later Moshe comes and tells the Rebbeinu Shalom comes and tells Moshe Rabbeinu, "Daber b'nei Yisrael." Lamar, tell the Jewish people, "Ish ki atami lenefesh overderech rechoka lachem ovederoseichem v'asa pesach Hashem." If you have a person, we know the story of Pesach Sheini. A person who's tamei nefesh, he's what's called either on a derech rechoka. He's not in the Beis Hamikdash by the zman of the akrav of the Korban Pesach. So what he should do is, and Yud Dalet Iyar, he should be makar b'Korban Pesach, right? Amatzos or Mrorim Yochlu, he should eat the Korban Pesach just like all the rules of the Korban Pesach on the right day. That's the parsha of the Pesach Sheini. And there's a couple of ideas here that are really like a tema on the psukim. It's clear, right, that there was a group of Timeim that were left out. They were following the halacha, right? That a Tamei Meis is not allowed to makriv the Korban Pesach for various reasons. And the Gemara says all different kinds of sugyas. Are you allowed to send a shliach to be makriv Korban? Granted, they themselves can't come into the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe someone else can do it on their behalf. Again, and they're all different ideas that are brought out from the Isurim over here. But Lamaisa, they halacha Lamaisa, they're not allowed to bring the Korban Pesach. So they come to Moshe Rabbeinu, right? And they say the following strange thing. Lama nigara, anachnu timei lenefesh adam. We're timei meis. Lama nigara levilti hakriv is Korban Hashem b'ma'ado b'sog b'nei. So why should it be any worse though and not be able to makriv the Korban Pesach like everybody else? So Minei Ubei, in that pasuk itself, there's a very strange thing. They got up and they presented themselves to Moshe Rabbeinu and said, "Anachnu Timei Lenef, we are Timei Meis," which basically means we're aware, we understand the rules, but we're not allowed to make Korban Pesach. But why should we be any worse than everybody else? So what kind of funny question is that? You just told us why you're worse because you're not allowed to bring a Korban Pesach. That's the din. And Orel is not allowed to bring Korban Pesach. Ben Nechar is not allowed to bring a Korban Pesach. You just said over a basic din, Anachnu Timei Lenefesh Adam, and it's obvious why you're not allowed to bring the Korban Pesach. That's like a little like what do they want to know, right? So it's like a person coming and saying to going over to who knows to Ray Kenningsburg and saying, you know what, I'm not a Kohen, I'm a Yisrael, but I wanna duchen with you on the what do you call it, on the whatever it is. I want to get up and duchen. I want to go and bring korbanos in the you can't. There are dinim, there are halachos. It doesn't work like that. That's not possible to do. The Tema goes a little bit more, right? When Moshe Rabbeinu says back to them, Imdu v'yashma'a ma yetzav Hashem eschem, I want you to wait while I hear and find out what's Hashem going to say. Again, right, you have the same basic question. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu going to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to ask him, what do we do with this group of people? Like, we know what to do. That's the din. You're patur from being a Korban Pesach. It's us for you to do it. You're patur from doing it. So that's it. End of story. You're quote unquote out of the parsha of the Korban Pesach. Well, what is there to ask exactly? It is pretty simple. What do you call what the dinim are? Again, using the same exact example I gave, we don't find that Moshe Rabbeinu comes and says, "Hey, what do I do with all the Yisraelim who are not Kohanim who would like to be Kohanim, but they're not? So can I find out? Is there like any way we could get them into the base of Mikdash and pretend to be Kohanim?" For today, that doesn't work like that. That's not the way things are. So what do you call it? What exactly? What did Moshe Rabbeinu want to know? What was he asking? And of course, the end result, as we all know, is the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechadesh to us over here a mitzvah of the Pesach Sheini, which again, kipshuto shel nigra, right, on a very simple level of reading through the psukim. Pesach Sheini wasn't quote unquote wasn't meant to be. The Gemara is an idea, Magalgal and Zechus, Zakai, that maybe the Pesach Sheini was going to come about at some point. These were the people that were just had the schus to bring the parsha into motion. An idea like that in Chazal is expressed. But again, on a very pasha level, there is no such thing as a Pesach Sheini, and somehow or another, this ended up happening. Right, we were granted an opportunity of a Pesach Sheini, coming off as something that seems to be a non-starter, which is this quote unquote ridiculous question of why should we be any worse than anybody else? So we're going to try to explain a simple machshav about Pesach Sheini, and I think important. Just to quote of Kenningsburg once again, a take-home message, a takeaway, however he says it, about the Pesach Sheini that I think it really is important. It gives us a lot of chizuk and a lot of things. So first, let's take a little diuk, a moment to make a diuk in the wording of what the Tameim were saying to Moshe Rabbeinu. They said to him, they said to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Anachnu Tameim lenefesh adam." We're Tameim, and we know that, right? Listen carefully to what they ask. Lama nigara, why should we be any worse? The vilti hakri ves korban Hashem b'ma'ada. Why should we be any worse and not be able to bring a korban pesach? They didn't ask Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not fair, right? They didn't ask Moshe Rabbeinu, why is it us to do? I'm protesting against that isser, right? I disagree with the fact that a tamei meis is not allowed to bring a korban pesach. The wording, right, that they use of lama nigara, why are we any worse, right, has a certain emotional kick to it, right? I know the din. I'm disappointed by that. Why am I worse off than him, or so on and so forth? Right? We're 100% understanding of what the halachos are. That's not my issue, and that's not what I'm coming to fight against. I'm not coming to protest. I'm not making a reform and what the mitzvahs of the Torah are. I got that. There's one thing though that was on the Tameim's mind, and that was the question of lama nigara. Why should we be worse than other people? There was a mitzvah that they're able to do, right? And again, I got you. The halacha says that I'm not supposed to do that, but I want to know, like, does it really have to be like that? Is it right? This comment of lama nigara. Why should I be any worse than anybody else over here? Says there's a madrega in ruchnius that I understand that I can't have. Again, I'm pater from doing it. I got you, right? But there's a madrega, there's an opportunity that I'm getting left out of, right? And hey, you know what? I get that bothers me. I don't like that. I'm losing out on a chance to do so. If you can tell me as an example from today till tomorrow, that you're a Yisrael, you're not a Kohen, so like, what do you want? And I understand that, right? But on the other hand, like somewhere, somehow or another in there, emotionally, there's like a certain feeling that, hey, well, like, wouldn't that be cool? To be able to, to be able to do, that stuff in the Beis Hamikdash. I have some of my grandchildren are Levium, okay? Because one of my daughters married a Levi. So to me, there's a really cool thing. Some of my descendants of the schus to be, whether they're from the Meshorim or the Shoarim in the Beis Hamikdash, but there'll be, some of my kids that are, that are there, and that's like, hey, I'm jealous of being able to, to do that. I can give my Ma'aser Rishon that I take to my, my daughter now, to my grandchildren. But the Tameim come and say, oh, that's all cute, but the Lama Nigara, there's something out there that I'm not able to do. I'm the worse off for that. There's something that I'm missing out on, and that's something that bothers me. We're going to elaborate in a second. Moshe Rabbeinu says, that's an interesting taina, right, that you have. You're not asking me, I don't like the din. You're not asking me, I want to argue on the halacha. You're expressing a very beautiful, beautiful feeling over here, right? There's something out there, a certain level in ruchnius that there are people out there that are able to have, and I see that I'm going to have that schus to do, and that hurts me a little bit. That bothers me. Why should it be like that? Do I have to be worse off, than everybody else? And the Rebbeinu Shalom comes as mechadesh to us a very, very special thing called the Pesach Sheini. You know what? You couldn't do it then, right? That's the din. That's the way things are, right? Very important to notice. So he's not telling, I'm changing my mind. The Rebbeinu Shalom says, this year we'll let you in, right? We'll let you do the Korban Pesach. No, it's not like that. The dinim are the dinim, exactly like you said. But that opportunity to make a kinyan in ruchnius and something that you love to be able to do, you know what? If you have like a real strong ratzon like that, if that's something that really is a legitimate, honest, thing, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna be mechadesh for you a parasha called the Pesach Sheini to enable you to live out the dream that you have of being able to have that madrega that your average Jew in Klal Yisrael is going to be able to do. As they point out, if you look through the pasuk, right, they say lo minigara, etc. Lahakir is korban Hashem b'ma'adu b'soch b'nei Yisrael. I want to be like Klal Yisrael. You didn't have an opportunity to be mekayim a korban Pesach. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to have that, but you know what? I'd love to be able to do something like that. B'soch b'nei Yisrael, that I should have a madrega that other people are zocha to be able to have. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes back and says, for that kind of a ratzon, for that kind of a drive, an understanding of the dinim, an understanding of the rules, but just coming along and saying, yeah, but you know what? I would love to be able to do that. Lama nigara, why should I be worse? That's where the parasha of Pesach Sheini comes in. So there's a very, very important chiddush that's here. And I really think, Pesach Sheini, even though it's something that, like, the truth be told, aside from the minhag of, eating matzah, if you have any stored over from Pesach time, we get out of a tachna, tomorrow morning, which is always a nice thing to do. Bamra was on like a Friday, not on a Thursday, but but that's the way it is. But again, it's whole day without tachna. That's better because you have Friday morning and Friday afternoon. You get a whole thing. So the mice, there's not that much else in Pesach Sheini that we actually do at all in the slightest bit. But perhaps we today can use the Pesach Sheini as an opportunity to think about the lesson that's there, that these Tameim had brought for us into the mindset of Klal Yisrael, into the structure of what the Torah is, the taina that a person has, of lama nigara, right? Why should I be any worse than anybody else? Why should there be a madrega that I'm not at? Now you're going to tell me it's like every logical reason in the world why you don't have that, right? You're tamei mace, it can't be. Logic is beautiful, right? And the dinim are great. Like I got the halachos. Uvacholzo, still in all, right? There's a feeling lama nigara, but like lamaisa, I want to be able to make it big in terms of my madregos and ruchnias. I want to fly high, and I want to be able to do what everybody out there could do and should be able to do, and that's something that I want also. So the chiddush of Pesach Sheini is that we're being told over here in the Torah is that the Rebbeinu Shalom says one of the most important things that you can ever have is a drive to say if there are opportunities out there in the world, right, I really, really want them, right? Those are things that I want to be able to be zoche to. I want to be able to chap that madrega. I want to be able to, function without any excuses, without any, understanding, okay, fine, I gotcha, fine, not relevant to me. That's not my thing, that it wasn't meant to be. That's all great, right, on a certain level to, we can comfort ourselves and say, fine, it's not meant to be. But lamaisa, right, if a person has the ability to look inside of himself and say, yeah, but, let's call a spade a spade. Lama nigara, why do I have to be worse off than whoever that's going to be? Why can't I be able to accomplish that or to do that also? That's a tremendously powerful taina that's there. So the Pesach Sheini comes along and tells all of us out there in the world who have every single excuse at times to not be holding where people might have been from that generation, from that door, from that circumstance, from that whatever it might be. But Pesach Sheini comes along and says, but we want you to understand something, but there is such an idea out there with a real drive and a real honest to goodness ratzon inside. If that question that comes out is something that's deep, and that question that comes out as a heartfelt thing, lama nigara, why should I be any worse than anybody else? So the moment that a person has that, so the Rebbeinu says, so Pesach Sheini is a day. Pesach Sheini is a day that I'm telling you is mamish made for you. This is a day where you have an opportunity, right, to be able to come along and say, you know what? Taika doesn't have to be like that. And the Rebbeinu Shalom shows us that he answers those kinds of bakashos. He answers those kinds of requests. The famous word that some of the Rebbes say, that Ona li'amo Yisrael be'ez shavam elav. We say in the bracha right before Shemona Esrei during Shachris. Ona li'amo Yisrael be'ez shavam elav. Hashem answers Klal Yisrael be'ez shavam elav when they cry out to him. So the tzaddikim always said a very interesting twist on that line. Onen li'amo Yisrael, Kadosh Baruch Hu answers Klal Yisrael, but Eis at the time that Shavam Elav, when they're calling out about him, meaning when Klal Yisrael is asking for ruchnias things from the Rebbeinu Shalom, when the Jews are asking for new madregos and Jews are asking for opportunities, and I want more and I want more and I want, but Kadosh Baruch Hu says, that's Gavalik, that's what I want to be able to give you. There's a Gemara at the end of the 7th parak in Brachos, where the Gemara quotes a pasuk. It was actually, we said it in this morning's Shir Shayom, that it says, Harachev picha va'amaleyu. Harachev picha, right? Open up your mouth wide, va'amaleyu, and I'm going to fill it. So Gemara says that even though when it comes to Gashmiistic things, so the truth is a person has to be, these aren't the exact words of the Gemara, but a person has to be mistapik. But muat, you don't have to always be asking for everything in the world. But says the Gemara, the pasuk of Harichev picha v'amaleyu, right? Open up your mouth v'amaleyu, and I'm going to fill it. It says the Gemara, hu b'divrei Torah hu dichsiv. That pasuk is speaking about divrei Torah, because in the world of ruchnias, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, whatever you're going to ask for, if you really want, you can open your mouth wide, big, 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 big. V'amaleyu, and Hashem says, if that's what you're asking for, and you're opening up and say, please, Rebbeinu Shalom, give me, amaleyu, I'm going to fill that. I'm going to stuff you with everything that you're looking for. But the request and the feeling, right, and that drive and the emotion has to be genuine, right, that I really want that. But then the Rebbeinu Shalom says, that's what we're going to call Pesach Sheini Jew. That's a gewaldige thing. Open your mouth, boom, and I'm going to provide you for the chances that you're looking for. We all, right, Lamaisa, have a lot to be thinking about on a Pesach Sheini. Just give some examples. Some examples. Some of them, you again, you might have heard from me in the past. We're going to start off like small though, right now. But there's a lot of big things that are there, that are there also, right? So a person can say, to himself, listen, right now, Klal Yisrael is in a state where yeshivas are not, again, but at Sas Gedola Yisrael, we're not, saying that anyone's doing anything wrong. But the yeshivas across the world are not being held and functioning in a normal kind of a fashion. That's the direction that the Gedolei Yisrael have given us right now. Staying at home, phones, Zoom, whatever it is that we're doing, but not to be making attempts to bring people together. You got schools, yeshivas, day schools. That's the way that camps, all these things. You can call it whatever you want, this or that. But lamaisa, we're being told we're supposed to stay. When a person says, you know what, but I'm not learning so well, right? It's not the same. I mean, second Seder used to be unbelievable. Night Seder used to be even more unbelievable. Morning Seder, davening, davening with a minyan, tefillah b'tzibur, right? Kavana during davening, all different things, that were there. I had an opportunity to be sitting. This is my year in Eretz Yisrael, right? An opportunity to be able to be away. Again, home, I guess we're hopefully settling in a little bit of a new reality. Home is like cute, home is great, but Lamais, it was unbelievable, to be in Eretz Yisrael. It's unbelievable to be in yeshiva, and I'm not right now, right? Now I understand if you're going to ask me why is that true, right? So we understand exactly what the issues are, or we understand logically, bidiyuk, why things are the way they are at the moment. That's all fine, that's all dandy, right? But here's where Pesach Sheini comes in and says to us, but now we got to look inside a little bit more, right? And a person can say, okay, but lama nigara, right? Why do I have to lose out? I got it all, fine. I'm totally mistadir with the way things are. But I know that there's madregos that I want to be able to have, right? And when a person turns to the Ribono Shel Olam and davens hard and says, I don't want to lose out, it doesn't always mean that, boom, the next day we're going to be, transported back all of a sudden to Eretz Yisrael. Everything's going to be perfect. The world is better. Miracle upon miracles. That's not necessarily going to happen. When a person, it maybe will, but when a person davens to the Ribono Shel Olam, lama nigara, why should I be any worse than anybody else? The Ribono Shel Olam hears that and says, oh, so you know what, I'm gonna make something work for you. Right? So a person can have a lama nigara taina sitting in his, we're going to take a guess, kitchen, backyard, living room, dining room, who knows where we are, right now, a bedroom back at home, and a person can say, okay, but even here right now, I just don't want to lose out. I want my Eon to be gavaldic. I want to be able to make a hespik and bibikiyas. I want to be able to make a siyam on the Masechta. I want to be able to grow in my Yerushalayim. I want to be able to deepen myself a lot more, and it's all doable if the person comes from the vantage point of lama nigara. Why should I lose out? Why should I be any worse? I want to be able to accomplish all the things that we're supposed to be doing. And if there are other people who could do that, I want to be able to do that also. Lama nigara, why should I be any worse than anybody else? Right? That's one thought for right now. But the truth is, when we keep on going through things, there's so many things that the taina and the question of lama nigara bring to the table for us, right? So for example, the person, I guess, tell you like a little bit from back, we'll go back in the day. So let's say when I was your age, or you're younger, your age, like that. So I had this chus to learn by many rebbeim who were both talmidim of the European yeshivas of Slobodka, other places that were there, and Baranovich and Mir, rebbeim who knew all of who they themselves were giants, and also knew all of the giants that walked in the yeshivas in Europe. And at the very least, right, even the quote unquote younger rebbeim that we had back then were all talmidim of the people that had been in Europe. So there was a very, very strong, I guess we'll call it kesher still to the world of Eastern European, Lithuanian yeshivas. And one of the things that we were always told when we were younger, and I think this sort of fell out of style, but I want to be machadesh it again a little bit, is one of the messages that was always given over to us constantly, that we want in the yeshiva should be like the European yeshivas. That idea that there were yeshivas that existed, like that were like mamash the top of the line, where the ruchnius is unreal, and the Yerushalayim was, mamash just, coming out, from everywhere, where people were really holding and learning, and people just had these incredible, drives, for greatness and ruchnius and greatness in Musar and halacha and Yerushalayim, hasmada, yedios in Torah, etc. Following the styles, both in dress and attitudes and speech, how we look at the world, outlooks, and so on and so forth. So the phrase, like the European yeshivas, I know, again, online we heard all the time, you guys are like our American Bachram growing up here or whatever, as in our case, 5 towns, and all of that. But the truth is, they would tell us all the time, but why wouldn't you want to be, right? Why wouldn't you want to be like those, greats that have this chus to be in the Slobodkas and the Navardiks and the Telzes and the Mears and the Baranoviches, that we all learned from, what it was like to be back in the glory days of the yeshivas. And the truth is that message really, that message seeped in, that just seeped in, quite a bit, where there was an interest in learning about the Gedolim. You wanted to learn how they lived, what was it like in the yeshiva, what kind of things what did they sing, what were they into, what was like the whole feeling and experience of there be like. Now, everyone could come along and say, yeah, but what do you want from me, right? I grew up, wherever it is, that I might be. It wasn't totally my upbringing. That's not exactly where I'm from. I have every reason in the world why I can have 1,010 different distractions. I'm not going to be like that guy, whoever it was. Again, just going back to Masorah trip again. You drive around Lithuania and you look at those windows when you're on the bus and you say, like we joked around many times, right? It's no wonder that people here became big Talmidei Chacham. There's nothing to do, right? So we have the easiest excuse in the world, but there's a lot to do. I mean, maybe right now there's not a lot to do, but generally speaking, there's a lot to do. Down the block from us, there's so many distractions, so many this. So okay, you're right. You know what? So I'm putter. Pesach Sheini comes along and says, no, your taina is supposed to be lama nigara. Why should I be any worse than anyone who had that opportunity back in the day? If there's shaykh to be that type of yeshiva bachar, if it's shaykh to have that kind of madrega, that's something that I want to be able to, to aspire to and be able to, to get to. Another example, right? And this is one of my famous. I know people joke around with me about this sometimes, but I think it's so, so important, right? We speak of aspirations, for ourselves. So we're going to use all the words, right? That I'd love to be a Talmid Chacham, I'd love to be a Yerei Shamayim, I want to be a Tzaddik, and so on and so forth, right? So many people have heard me joke around, right? That how infrequent is it that when somebody, asks you, hey, what do you want to be and this and that, how many people ever say, I want to be a Navi, right? I want to have Nevuah, right? So we would, if someone asks you that, they'll tell you, what are you talking about, right? And you can be even a lamda. The Gemara says, and the Guild is no Nevuah and Chutz La'aretz and this, and right? It's not shaykh to us anymore. But be'etzem, right? When a person says, yeah, but wait a second, right? There's a whole world out there, right? That, yeah, that's right. There's every reason in the world why we don't have it. But if there's something out there that maybe could get me closer to the Ribbon Shalom, so I'd love to aspire to do that. Am I going to get Nevuah right now? Maybe not today. Going to get Ruach HaKodesh right now? Also maybe not by this afternoon, right? But a person to pick up in his madregos, pick up in his devekos with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and say, you know what, but my she'ifa, my yearning, right, is to be able to have all of those things that Klal Yisrael is meant to have, all those things that the biggest Jews out there are meant to have. That has to be there deep down inside of me. Is my being a Navi going to also require a Beis HaMikdash? Yep. Is my being a Navi going to require a whole, Shivas Tzion? That's also true, right? But why not? Right? Why shouldn't that be the case? To become so complacent, right, and saying, this is the way it is. This is the world today where we're here. This is the way it is. We have to get used to this and get used to that, right? And Pesach Sheini comes and says, no. A person has the ability to say, I know who I am. Right? I have every excuse in the world why I shouldn't be able to do that. And I also understand that there's no taina against me if I don't. Not one of those Tameim is going to be held accountable for not bringing a Korban Pesach. Anachnu Tameim L'Nefesh Adam, we know what the din is. Right? But the question, as we began with before, is not what's the din and what's the halacha. The question that we want to be feeling inside and asking inside is, Lama Nigara, why should I be worse off though? I got it, and I know I'm accountable, I'm putter, but I want to be able to have the experience. If there's a greatness that's there, I want it. A madrega that's there in Ruchnius, I want it. If there's some experience in Devekos that's meant to be had, I want to be able to do that also. When a person turns to the Ribono Shalom, like we said, with a heartfelt tefillah, and he means it. It's something that's really, really, really being felt deep down inside of him. The Ribono Shalom opens up a lot of doors for us and enables a person to be able to be kona those madrigos and achieve things that he taka didn't realize that he was going to be able to do. The famous vort on the pasuk we sing about in yeshiva all the time. A pasuk in Tehillim of Ana Hashem ki ani avdecha pitachta l'mosei roi. Ana Hashem ki ani avdecha. The machlokas in the farsh, look in the radak exactly how to translate that word. We're going to do a simple but maybe not accurate. Ana Hashem, please Hashem, ki ani avdecha, I'm your eved. Pitachta l'mosei roi. You've opened up mosei roi. You've opened up all of my shackles. You've opened up all of the things that inhibit me. So the vort in the pasuk is, right, that when a person says to the Ribono Shalom, my aspiration in life is to be an Eved Hashem. My aspiration in life is to be totally identified. My Shekana Eved, Kana Rabo, everything I have is yours. Your Ratzon is my Ratzon, etc. I want to be yours. Ana Hashem ki ani avdecha. That's who I want. The end of the pasuk is equally true. Pitachta l'mosei roi. You've opened up all of my shackles, meaning the Ribono Shalom says, you're a guy who's coming be'emes, right, and singing the Yishrei anthem of Ana Hashem ki ani avdecha. I'm going to open up every single door in front of you, and you're going to see that you're going to be able to march through things that you didn't realize were possible. You're going to be able to get to places that had you not asked for that, had you not said that Ana Hashem ki ani avdecha, you're right, there might have been a brick wall in front. It might be worse than a brick wall that's in front of you. There's a lot of things holding you back. But, right, as Baruch Hashem, healthy Pesach Sheini Yidden, we're able to come to the Ribono Shalom and say, Pitachta l'mosei roi, open up every single avenue that's going to enable me to grow. Open up every opportunity that's going to enable me to be able to steig in tremendous ways. And to make it clear, it doesn't mean that nisim happen all around us. It doesn't mean that we're going to be magically transported back to our Beis Medrash in a day or two. Right? But it means that no matter what's happening right now, I always want to hold myself to a standard where I say, I just don't want to be worse off than other people. I want to be the best of the best, given whatever the limitations that I might have right now. But I can overcome, I can rise above, I can really, really accomplish amazing things, despite the fact that I might be a Timeim L'Nefesh Adam, like the Timeim came along and said. So La'aniyos Daiti, like we said earlier, Pesach Sheini is a day that we're not, today we're not bringing the Korban Pesach, but maybe we should ask the Ribono Shalom, I want to do that also, right? We just want to be able to have as many opportunities and ruchnias as we possibly can, to know that we don't really want to rely on the excuses. We don't really want to rely on all of the logical and rational reasons why we have to stay like the same and not really, pick up and not really make it big. Lama Nigara should always be the feel that we have. I want to dive in like the biggest Bali Avoda out there. I want to learn like the biggest Talmidei Chacham out there. I want to have the Yiras Shamayim like the biggest Tzaddikim that are out there. I want to be able to make it big. Again, with my kelim, my life, and my abilities, all of that's true. But to say to the Ribono Shalom, I really, really, really want, and that's what the Ribono Shalom says, Pitachta l'mosei roi, harchi picha v'amaleyu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised, I'm going to mamish fill you and pump you with all the ruchnias and all of the Torah and all of the things that you really, really want deep down inside. So we give each other a bracha, right? That we should have strong aspirations. We should have really, really strong feelings. We should be able to actually really want all of the things that the Rebbeinu Shalom is looking to see from us, and maybe even ask for more than that at the same time. And Amir Tashem Pesach Sheini should turn out to be a very meaningful day for all of us, and a day that we can really use to catapult ourselves to a lot of growth and a lot of change and a lot of aliyah and ruchnius and all kinds of good things.